नमः सर्वेभ्यः सुप्रभातम्। मम स्क्रीन् दृश्यते इति मन्ये। वर्गस्य आरम्भं करिष्यामः। मम ध्वनिः श्रूयते वा इदानीम्? अस्तु। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। पठामि संस्कृतं नित्यं वदामि गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। नमः सर्वेभ्यः सुप्रभातं। मम नमस्कारः। अद्य कोविदवर्गस्य प्रथमवर्गः। कोविदवर्गः प्रति सप्ताहः मंगलवासरे गुरुवासरे च भवति। 11:00 अद्य शुभदिनम्, अतः प्रथमवर्गः अद्य वयम् आरम्भं करिष्यामः। लघुवर्गः एव। प्रति सप्ताहे प्रति वर्गे जूम मीटिंग मध्ये एव वयं मिलामः। कोविद स्तरे के विषयाः सन्ति इति पश्यामः। अस्माकं वर्गः एकवर्षं प्रति, we will be studying this for 1 year. व्याकरण विषयान् प्रथमं वयं पठिष्यामः। अनन्तरं अन्य विषयाः के सन्ति इति दृष्ट्वा पठिष्यामः। We will be studying the class for 1 year, which means in the next few months we will be doing Vyakaranam first, all the topics related to Vyakaranam first. And then after that, Anantaram, usually the students come and present in our class. Anya Vishayaha, Katha, Sukti, Subhashitani, Ityadini Vishayani. Chatraha eva Vargam Agatya Pathayanti. So those who are planning to write in July, you will have our class to handhold regarding all the topics. But those who wish to write this in January 2023, you will have to do Vyakaranam in our class and maybe other classes too that others are you might be going. Kintu anya vishayaha swayameva patithavyam. You need to read that by yourself. So ke vishayaha santi iti pashyamaha. व्याकरण विषयाः समासः सर्वे जानन्ति एव। कोविदस्तरे मुख्य अंशः समासः। संस्कृत भाषायाः मुख्य अंशः अपि समासः एव। तद्धितान्ताः, निजन्ताः, सन्नन्ताः, अलङ्काराः, छन्दस्, नत्व नियमाः इति व्याकरण विषयाः वर्गे प्रथमं वयं पठिष्यामः। अनन्तरं व्याकरणं समाप्य सूक्तयः, सुभाषितानि, रघुवंश श्लोकानाम् अन्वयः, यथा शिक्षा स्तरे अन्वयः पठितवन्तः। अन्वयः किं पठितवन्तः? भगवद्गीता श्लोकानाम् अन्वयः पठितवन्तः। पूर्वं संक्षेप्य रामायणं पठितवन्तः। समानं रघुवंश श्लोकानाम् अन्वयः पठिष्यामः। विस्ताररूपेण पठिष्यामः। काव्यकथा, कुमारसम्भवं, नैषधीयचरितं। कोविदस्तरे संस्कृतसाहित्यपरिचयः, ग्रन्थकारपरिचयः विस्ताररूपेण दत्तः। अनेकानि विषयाः सन्ति There are lots of Sahitya Parichaya, like what is Samskrita Natakam, what is Rupakam, what is Gadyam, what is Padyam, how do you define a Gadyam, how do you define a Padyam. Samanam Mukhya Granthakaraha, those who have primarily contributed to the language. So about them also. So this takes a lot of time to read, and this is a major part in the, if you're looking at it from exam point of view, it is a major point in the exam also. There are questions which will come with respect to write about the Granthakaraha. It could be in other forms, Ekapadena, Uttaram Dadatu, Sadhu, Asadhu. So this is something that you cannot skip if you plan to get the feeling of writing well in the exam. So this is something we also have to start learning and familiarizing ourselves right from the beginning. Of course, from the exam point of view, you have a Patita Gadyamsha, reading comprehension. There could be Katha Lekanam, where simple points could be given and you have to expand and write it as a Katha by yourself. Nibandha Lekanam, Sishakam Dattva, Nibandha Lekanam. Patra Lekanam, letter writing is also there in Kovida study. So, Vyakarana Vishayaha, Varge Vayam Dirgha Rupena Pashyamaha, Vistara Rupena, Suktayaha Subhashitani Anya Vishayaha, Chatraha Eva Patitva Pradarshyanti. Prashnaha asti va? Sudha Bhagini, Prashnaha asti va? You are not on audio. I think Sudha Bhagini is not on audio. I can't unmute her. Anya kopi prashnaha asti va? Astu. Mama prarthana ekam eva vyakarana vishayaha Dirgha Rupena Vistara Rupena Kovida stare bhavati yet pustake dattam pratamam vayam tad patishyamaha. What is given in the book, let us try to cover first. The reason being, Samasaha iti vishayaha, it is very vast. So if we start going into Samasaha outside the book, like I keep saying in all classes, the person who is trying to explore an adventure, that person might find it interesting. But for other people, it can get really, really overwhelming. At least for the beginning parts, when we are familiarizing ourselves with Samasaha, Anya Vyakarana Vishayan, let us stick to what is done in the class. Let us stick to the homework which is given there, which is given to you, the Abhyasaha which is given there in the book. Try not to overwhelm people and yourself with examples or abhyasaha or questions outside the scope. This has also been raised to me in the earlier classes. So this is a kind request to everybody. If you are encountering something and you want a clarification which is not part of the class, which is not part of our homework, you can message me and I will do my best to clarify it for you. So this is a very humble request for everybody, that what we do in class, what abhyasaha given in the book, what grihapataha, which we try to solve, stick to those at the beginning. And once you complete the level, you will have all the time to explore without overwhelming or making others feel like they are not doing justice to their pathanam. So that is my humble request to everybody. Last time we had a separate grihapataha ganaha. Idanimeva ganaha asti. Siksha grihapatameva Kovida grihapatam iti nama idanim dattam asti. Those who wish to discuss the grihapataha, you can join that group. I will post the link. Couple of requests there as well. Try to respect everybody's time. no forwards whatsoever in that group. Even if it is related to Sanskritam, there are 100+ Chatraha in the group. And if each one sends one Vishayaha about Sanskritam every day, that means we have to read 100 messages. So as a rule, try not to send anything other than Grihapataha question, so that we respect everybody's time. When somebody is posting a message, 100 people are looking at it to see what I can learn from that. So let us have a healthy discussion there, only related to topics that are being discussed in our class. Anything else, Bhanu Bhagini?
I just wanted to know, this time also it will come only from the textbook, or we have to be outside also, we have to study?
So mostly it will be from the textbook only, Bhagini. But then just like, you know, other levels also, it might not be examples directly from the textbook, but then once you practice everything in the textbook, you should be able to crack.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dhanyavad.
Asked. Srinath Mahodaya?
Can you please roughly indicate number of classes it will take? For example, Samasaha, how many classes?
No,
that will
janami, Mahodaya.
That will give us the extent of the, contents.
No, janami, Mahodaya, because it truly depends on how well the class receives the content, right? So one thing we always do in our class is it's not like I come present and then once I am done, it is a check mark and then I move to the other next content, right? So we do a lot of exercises. It's mostly participative class. So if the students receive the content well and we feel like we can proceed after the Abhyasaha, we proceed. So truly we cannot, there are classes that, you know, people take just a Samasaha for like, you know, 40 sessions, 30 sessions where you know, really Pandits take that for like, if you want to go in a detailed way. So at this juncture, I'm not able to say how many classes we have for Samasa, how much time it will take for each of.
No. Sorry, I think I have not framed my question properly. That is only to understand the the broadness of the subject or in-depth of the subject. For example, Samosa will take 20. You need not stick to any this one.
Samosa. No, I don't have that information, and I don't want to start the classes with that sort of mentality. If I think a topic would take one class and then I come and explain in the class and it's going to take 3 classes for everybody to understand, it will be 3 classes. So I don't want to preconceive in my mind saying that, okay, I'm going to do this in once we start and we move on. Maybe it was easier to do this sort of planning for Siksha because it was mostly Sandhi, which was just Niyamaha, and it was relatively easier to grasp with in this Kovida level, which is one of the reasons why we are doing it for 1 year, because I don't want the time pressure. Saying that, okay, Samasaha, I want to finish in 10 class, Tadidantaha, I want to finish it in 5 class. I don't have that in my mind. So we'll see as it goes, and how much ever it takes, how many ever classes it takes. We will hone ourselves and prepare ourselves for the exam next year.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Astu, Shamita, I don't have a better answer for you.
No. I think I should ask. Sorry.
No. That's fine. Astu, Geeta Bhagini vadatu.
Namaste, Bhagini.
Namaskaraha.
Bhagini, about Lekhakara and Parichaya, is it enough if we just read it from the book, or do we have to?
Astu, yet pustake datyam tad alam Bhagini. What is given in the book is more than enough. That itself is very overwhelming. If you look at the numbers, there are 10 Sahitya Parichayaha, each running, at 2 pages in the book. So there is so much content there for us to understand. And I used to think, why do we actually need to read this? But at the end, I think I have a better understanding of the Bhasha after I read about the Sahitya and Granthakara Parichaya. So what is given in the book is more than enough. And I think for Granthakara, there are about 45 or 50 Granthakara which is given in the book. So what is given in the book is more than enough. And yeah, that itself is a lot. Vasanti Bhagini?
Namaste Bhagini, Shriyate va?
Vadatu. Namaskara.
Dhanyavadaha, Namaskaraha Bhagini. My question is, maybe if it's too early, please forgive me. Regarding the exams, Bhagini, will you prepare us in such a way that we will be able to take the exams in January 2023 or July 2023 is my question, Bhagini.
July 2023, Bhagini. For our class, the plan is for everybody to write it in July 2023. Yes. So if you want to write this in Jan, we will try to cover, and I'm not promising, we will try to cover the Vyakarana part before the January 2023 exams. And I'm not promising that because, like I said, my aim is not to rush through, which is why unlike our usual 6 months, we decided we will do Kovida for 1 year. And if I rush, then it defeats the whole purpose. Okay. So in many people, I myself wrote it in 6 months. I just gave it in August. So but then I did when I did the preparation, the last 2 weeks I took off work. The 2 weeks before that, I had night outs to read and understand the content and do. I did attend a few classes. My pranams to my gurus, Dr. Soumya Krishnapur and Dr. Vidya Ramesh Bhagini. I attended Soumya Bhagini's online video classes, on-demand classes, Vyomas. So that's what I primarily listened to. And I also attended Vidya Bhagini's classes until June, before my kids started school, because after that, the evening time didn't work for me. So my humble kritagnyata to both of them. But the point being, if you have that kind of capacity where you can crash read at the last minute and lot of content you will be able to take, I think I would suggest you go. But a lot of people in this group, I think there are many Chatraha who have been traveling with us the past 3 levels, and they all felt that they want, even for Siksha, they were not able to do justice. So which is why I think during one of the last few sessions we discussed and we said there were suggestions around, let's do Kovida for 1 year so that we do more exercises, we understand, and we don't feel like we are rushing to crack an exam.
Okay, Bhagini.
So we will be doing Vyakarana. I will try my level best. So for those who want to write the exam in July, I will try my level best to do Vyakarana as much as possible. We have September is almost done. So October, November, December. In 3 months, and maybe half of Jan, I'll try my level best, but I'm not making any promise because I don't want to rush. But which means everything which is given in the Dakshina Bhagam there, which is Suktayaha, Subhashitani, Raghuvamshaha, all those you have to do self-study because those will not be covered in class until we finish the Vyakarana part.
Okay, Bhagini, got noted. Because of the dynamic family situation, I wanted to ask, ideally, I would also like to go for a year because like you rightly said, Siksha, I don't think I've done any justice. I have a background of only Tamil as a second language. During COVID, Guru Kripa, I have managed to pick up some Sanskrit there. That is basically where I come from, Bhagini. If I've asked a wrong question.
No. This is, I think many people, in fact, I think there was also confusion around there is going to be a separate 6 months class for Vyakarana, separate class for 1 year. So it's good that you asked. I think it's clear now. There will be only one class. We will do the Vyakarana part first. If you want to give the exam in January, then all that is given in the right hand side, you will have to study by yourself. But then if you're planning to give it in July, after we finish the Vyakarana part, the students will come and present all these in the class. That's how our structure has been right from the beginning. So once the Vyakarana part is done, the students come and explore and use the Vyakarana part to come and explore and present the other topics in the class. So that is how it will be with Guru Kripa this time too. Yes. Lavanya Bhagini, I'll take 2 more questions and then we can start the class.
Namaste, Bhagini.
Namaskara.
Actually, I have a doubt that will we be writing in Sanskrit or any comfortable language?
Good question. Astu. I should have mentioned this. Thank you for asking. So, Kovida Stare, I think around 96, 97%. I forget, because I have always written in Sanskrit. I think the paper is in Sanskrit. I don't think there is any topic out there which says you write it in Anya Bhasha. Maybe in between there were a couple of years when they permitted maybe 2 or 3 topics to be written in other languages, but in Kovida, the majority of the paper, more than 95%, and this time I don't think there was anything out there which said you write it in. I can go back, check, and I don't even look at that, Bhagni, because I've tried writing in Sanskritam, even if it is broken, even if it is wrong. I've always tried writing in Sanskritam. So it is fully in Sanskritam. So that is another reason why we need practice. We need to focus all the Tatparyam for Anvayaha, Kavya Katha. I think maybe 1 or 2 years the ERC was given in, I think they said write it in other language, but I could be wrong. But I know the past few years, the paper has been fully in Sanskritam. Thank you for asking that. So that is another reason why it is important that, and the Nibandha Lekhanam, all that is not very generic, easy topics. You need to know a lot of content to do. So it requires a bit of practice. Whether we will be able to do that in class, that I don't know, but it will help if we are able to devote that time every day. The shloka that we say, Pathami Samskritam Nityam Vadami, that Pathami and Dhyayami, you have to constantly do over a period of time for us to assimilate the content in Kovida. Bhavani Bhagini, I'll take 2 more questions and then we'll go start the class.
Hari Om Bhagini.
Namaste.
Nutana Kaksharaha Abhinandanani. My question is, I'm going to write the exams on January 23rd. Is it possible for me to continue with you till July 23?
Yes.
Will there be any problem for you?
No. Exam is your discretion. Anybody can. There are people who have already written Kovida who are attending Kovida class again.
I preferred for January 23 because of my family situation. I thought I will write it early as possible. If I can continue with you till July 23, it is good for me, I think. That is why I am
learning, there is no restriction for learning at all, Bhagini. Anybody can come, anybody can learn, as long as we have the question.
Astu Bhagini. Bahu dhanyavadaha.
Astu. Rama Bhagini.
Namaskara Bhagini.
Namaste.
Abhinandanani Nutana Kovida Varge.
Bhavatimapi. Vadatu Bhagini.
Maukika asti va?
Kovidastare nasti Bhagini. Na Bhagini. Patrachara track madhye nasti. It is only in the other track, Gita Sopanam, Bhasha Sopanam, where you have Maukika.
Astu Bhagini. Dhanyavada.
Astu. Anybody else before we move? Vadatu Bhagini?
Namaste Bhagini, once again. I just want to also understand, if the Chatraha in your group have or form study groups, Bhagini? I mean, do you normally encourage that, Bhagini?
So we have a we have a Kovida Griha Patam group. In that, a lot of people were able to find partners. So for many who have been traveling with us since Pravesha, initially, I just randomly put two people together, and then Parichaya, the Nutana Chatraha, I put two people together, and then Siksha also, we pretty much did the same. And those who didn't have a partner, they just messaged other people, and then they studied together. So so you can form partner study. I think my only ask would be respect other people's time. There have been some concerns that have come to my attention about not respecting the ask with respect to, hey, let's study together, and then constantly bugging with questions, even though the other person has said, you know what, I don't have the time today, let's do some other time. So if you're doing that, just be respectful of your partner's time. Not everybody has the same kind of motivation, same kind of situation and environment that one can put in. So people have also mentioned, this partner study sometimes is getting very overwhelming, because I'm not as, I wouldn't say motivated. I don't have as much time as my partner to do the study. So I was very fortunate, and I want to thank my friend Samya Chandrasekharan now, with whom I've been doing 3 levels. In fact, I think my Sanskrita study towards the exam and the understanding, went multiple levels because of my study with her. So I'm thankful to her. I hope everybody gets somebody with whom the wavelength sort of clicks, and be respectful. I think that's another ask that I have to our group as well. As much as possible, avoid calling anybody, not just me, anybody, right? There is nothing that is urgent for us that it needs a phone call. All of us are juggling so many roles in life with respect to being, a mother, a daughter, daughter-in-law, a friend. Social responsibilities, your office work. So my humble request to everybody, even to your Sahachatra, try and avoid calls, because nothing can be that urgent. And many of us are doing this in the midst of a lot of constraints with respect to home and work. I should say we are all doing this in spite of the constraints. So the phone calls that we take, the discussions that we have, it could be seen as interruption to daily schedule, and it could be causing problems for others. So be respectful. There should be you should be able to send a message and wait for the other person to respond, because there is nothing here in Kovida which is that urgent. So if a message is sent and you're waiting for somebody to respond to that, maybe 1 class, 2 class, it's absolutely fine. It's not like we have an exam tomorrow, and if you don't find the answer, the world will come to an end. So this is also another escalation that has been brought to my attention, that people are calling, just looking at numbers in the group, and then calling saying, I have this doubt, please clarify this doubt, please make some time for me. Please avoid that. Not everybody is in the same situation. And saying no is hard for a lot of people. They feel, how can I say no when somebody is so sincere and so dedicated to learn the language? I feel very uncomfortable saying no, and then they get into trouble at home or at work or whatever. So please be respectful of that. Hopefully in this level, in this Kovida Patanam, that sort of escalation will not come to me. I had to tell people to stop calling, don't message, nothing is that urgent. You can all afford to send a message, post a question, and wait for the response over the next few days. I hope everybody is with me on that. I think a lot of people will be able to connect to what I am saying.
Madam, actually for Siksha itself, we had Maukika, madam.
Oh, then it must be a different Jilla?
Dakshin Bharati, actually.
We don't, so our entire practice papers, the entire I wouldn't say the goal, but the path is towards Uttara Tamil Nadu, Mahodaya, because that is where I did. So if you have Maukikam, then you have to prepare separately for that.
Okay. Just one more question out of interest only.
Mm.
In the Chandams is there, no? After that, you mean when we read the sloka, our pronunciation and things will become better? How deep does it go? Just for a curiosity, I'm asking.
The pronunciation part of it is something that you have to assimilate by understanding the lipi and the pronunciation, right? So when you look at the akshara, if it is a the and a the, Chandas is not going to help you with that. Maybe
where we stop, where we start, that will help, isn't it?
Even where you stop, and maybe a little bit based on Chandas, but a lot of it is based on Sandhi, right? So where the split happens, which word you can split into two, which word you cannot, a lot of it is based on Sandhi that we have already read. So Chandas will also help. Chandas will help you in terms of maintaining the meter. I think if you look at it from that point of view, I would agree with you, because you understand what meter this belongs to. You will know where to take the breath and where you should not pause for the split. That it will help you. But Chandas is covered only at a high level, Mahodaya, in Kovida. Just high level. What are the? We don't even go into all the types of Chandas. It's only 4 or 5, maybe. That's it. It's a very vast topic. Okay, there are more questions. I think I'll take the questions, because otherwise I think it will be nagging your mind about the class. But I do want to start the class today. Vadatu Revati Bhagini, you have to unmute yourself.
Aham Nudana Chhatra Bhagini.
Swagatam.
I understood what you said, so I won't call you at any time.
Astu Bhagini, Dhanyavad. Astu. It's not just you, Bhagini. A lot of people, when they get stuck at one point, they feel they can't proceed until they find the answer, right? So
Okay.
It's a very normal human tendency, but given where we are at and the type of learning that we are in, there is no urgency whatsoever, right? We can afford to wait. Unlike, a 10th board exam where the previous day, if I don't find the answer, I feel like I can't write my board exam. We are not in that level. So that and lot of like, for example, I don't take calls myself. I think those who have traveled with me, they would know. All my Shloka group members also would know. I hardly attend calls, because I want to do justice to the folks in my house, and unless it's absolutely urgent, I take my time to respond, and it is what it is.
Okay, I am very happy to travel with you and all friends.
Astu Bhagini.
Astu.
Dhanyavad
Bhagini.
I don't know the name. I would suggest you change the name. It says Samsung. I don't know who that is. You can unmute yourself. Ganapati Mahodaya.
Ram Bhagini. I am Ganapati Subramaniam. I am new to your class. I listen to everything. I will go by the instructions that you give me, but I have only one small doubt. I am writing here from Bangalore. So when you are saying that this Maukika is there in Tamil Nadu, just want to know, is there anything special in Bangalore which I need to take care of in the examination?
The Bangalore paper pattern is a little different, Mahodaya. So you can probably look, just Google for Kovida Prashna Patraha, Samskrita Bharati, Uttara Tamil Nadu, and then you can Google for Bangalore and compare the two. It's Bangalore paper pattern has always been different. So it's only from that point of view. So the reason I say that, a lot of what we prepare depends on the paper, right? If you are preparing to write an exam, the paper pattern is very important to us, right? Because the way we actually prepare is very different based on the type of questions that will be asked. It will also help us prioritize based on what will be asked, right? So, and the subsections and the number of marks for each section. Say, for example, there is a topic that will come only for 5 marks in Bangalore, but it will come for, say, 20 marks in Uttara Tamil Nadu. Then our preparation will be different, right? If it is just 5 marks, you can afford to skip that and then focus on something else. But if it is 20 marks, then you would be like, no, I don't want to skip this because it, it could come up to like 20. So it is also a smart way of preparing, because we prioritize, we start our preparation, we prioritize and we focus based on the segregation of marks in each section. So it is important. While exam is not everything, especially when we learn Sanskritam, which we are learning for the passion of the language and, out of our own interest. Nobody is forcing us. We are all here because we are motivated to learn the language. And it's not about just completing 4 levels, right? We want to, a lot of us start this journey with the motivation or the goal that, hey, when I read my shlokas, I want to understand. I need to know when to pause. I need to know how to split. I need to know the artha without Googling. So a lot of us have that motivation, but then when we are going for an exam, it calls for its own discipline and way of study. So I no denial about that. So I would suggest you compare. There are a lot of folks from Bangalore Jilla who are part of our group. So maybe somebody can help you with sample question papers. Astu Murali Mahodaya. You have to unmute yourself. Lavanya Bhagini.
Hello.
Murali Mahodaya vadatu. Anantaram Lavanya Bhagini.
My request to you is to include my another number, Geo number, in the group, so that Geo is in the tab actually.
You can message.
Which has a better screen, so I would request you to kindly.
Astu Mahodaya, just message me on WhatsApp and I'll send you the link.
Oh, sure. Okay. Dhanyavad.
Astu. Lavanya Bhagini.
Namaste, Bhagini.
Namaskar.
Actually, will you be sending the Grihapatam group link in the chat?
Bhagini, Presheshyami. Bhagini. I will post it in the main group and then you can join it from there. Just stick to the requests that have been made. That's all.
Oh, okay. Actually, I am not in the main group. Actually, I got it from one of my friends. That's why I'm able to join your.
Preshetu Bhagini. Just message me on WhatsApp and I will send you the main group link, because all the Vargaha details will be posted there. All the Suchanam will be posted there. So if there is class, if there is a change of timings, or there is a cancellation of class, or there is a prep work request that I am making before coming to class, read this and come, requests like that will be posted only in the main group. So please join the main group if you're not part of it. Just message me on WhatsApp. Bhagini.
Okay. Dhanyavad.
Indrani, you have to unmute yourself, Bhagini.
Yeah, namaste, Bhagini. This is my first class with you as well, and thank you for letting me in.
Swagatam.
I wanted to say I'm also from Bangalore, and the Bangalore pattern has been far more relaxed as compared to the Tamil Nadu, in the sense that we have been permitted to answer a lot of questions in English or in the local language as opposed to Sanskrit. So you will have to bear with us while we adjust ourselves to the pattern where you present completely in Sanskrit.
Until this level, even in Uttara Tamil Nadu, it has been write it in English or Tamil, Bhagini.
Okay.
It is out of personal choice that I've always written in Sanskrit.
Yeah, so thanks to you, I was able to answer the Shiksha paper to a large extent in Sanskrit. I also wanted to know, is there another group when you are referring to the main group?
Yes, so main group is where the class details will be posted. It's an admin only group. We also have a separate Grihapatam group. So all the homework related discussion, or if there is a abhyasa in the book or something from the class you don't understand, it is a separate group. The reason why we have two groups is because if I just have one group and lot of charcha is happening, then my messages will get lost in that. So if there is something related to the class or prep work that I post, then people are likely to miss it. So exclusive, something that is only related to our classes, details about our classes. And then in a Grihapatam group, you can discuss anything. Like I said, stick to what is there in our class, stick to what is given in the book, stick to the homework which is given, and try not to go outside of what is being discussed or what is being done, because we have about 150 students in that group, and one question from one, if people are not able to comprehend, they can feel very diffident that they are not able to understand. And this is also something that we have learned over the past years, right? If you're asking something which is not there in our class, which is not there in Abhyasa, which is not there in Grihapatam, message me personally. Don't post it in the group. So they'll be like, where did you get it? How come I don't know this? When will I get to a state where I start exploring and I understand? And it makes people feel very diffident. And I definitely don't want that to happen. Astu. Valli Bhagini.
Namaskara Bhagini. Ahamapi Nutra Chhatra Asmi. Ahamapi Abhyasa Varge Yojetum Ichchami
Bhagini. I will definitely post Bhagini. Link Preshishyami Bhavati Yojetum.
Dhanyavada Bhagini. Dhanyavada.
Namaskaraha.
Namaskaraha. First of all, congrats for starting this. I've been waiting eagerly for this. I have a small request, Vaniji. The thing is that you're a source of inspiration for many people for learning Sanskritam. Though I have completed Kovida, I'm joining this course only to relive my Kovida days and to enjoy the language. But what I have understood, Vaniji, which you will agree with me, many people who pass the written exam, who can write very well, when you suddenly ask them to speak, their spoken Sanskritam is not at all very good, and I'm guilty as charged.
Me too. Me too.
Would you be having, my request is, see, for any student of the language, I'm actually joining from my hospital right now because I love this language. For any student of the language who likes the language, you just cannot say, I have passed Kovida, I can write 10 sentences in Shuddha Sanskritam. See, I can write, but maybe when I think and write, but I want to speak like how I think in Tamil and speak, or I think in English and speak. So it is a humble request from my side. Maybe somewhere down the line, you should have a group or maybe a 10-minute class or a 15-minute class specifically focusing on spoken Sanskritam, because that is the true success of any teacher or any student, where they can inculcate the habit of thinking in Sanskritam. Otherwise, what happens is, I cheat myself into thinking in Tamil, which is my mother tongue, and then speaking in Sanskritam, which I don't want. I need your help in this, Adhyapika.
It will come with time, Mahodaya. My Samskrita Sambhashanam is also not that great. In fact, I feel guilty sometimes speaking in Sanskritam and saying wrong Vyakaranam and then correcting myself. But then if I don't try, I will never get there, right? And the classes that we have, these are all recorded permanently there, on my channel, and anybody can look at it and say, hey, she's a teacher and she's making these basic Vyakarana mistakes and not able to speak one line properly in Sanskritam. But to me, that is immaterial, which is why I try my level best to take the classes. So when we actually start the classes, it will be in Sanskritam. Of course, now and then I might repeat something which is a little complicated. I might say again. The only way we can learn, so like somebody has posted, there is a separate track in Samskrita Bharati, which is for spoken Sanskritam. It's called the GSK track, where you start with Prak Sopanam, Bhasha Sopanam, Gita Sopanam, Gita Praveshaha. So there you have You can strengthen your Vyakaranam and you can speak the language. So many people do this in parallel, but I feel that it is in the interest of time, in the interest of doing justice to what is being given to us in each level. I personally recommend, and I apologize to Samskrita Bharati if they have a different line of thought. For me personally, I think we should do the 4 levels and then start focusing on the grammar part. Definitely, I feel more confident after completing the Kovida Stara. So after that, I feel okay. I'm able to, like, I teach Slokams, and till now I've been relying on Google for for the meaning part of it. So the Shloka classes that I run, we learn Shlokam with meaning, and thanks to P.R. Ramachandar, who has done extensive Shloka translation based on Mahapariva's Anugraham. So, but now I'm able to do a lot of it myself, though I cross-check and make sure my understanding is right. I'm able to do a lot by myself, and I got to that level only after I completed my Kovida. And then strengthening the grammar, in the other track, the GSK track, you don't have all these either vishayangal. So for example, like katha or sahitya parichaya or anything like that. You have mainly Vyakaranam. Of course, you have these basic literature related stuff like reading comprehension, topic writing. Those are there, but mainly Vyakaranam. So it helps us strengthen our Vyakaranam. And then there is also a Vaiva part, a Maukikam part, where you speak in Sanskritam. It will be taken by, the Maukikam will be taken by Sanskrit experts, and it'll be an interesting exercise. So just being there and speaking in Sanskritam, and it comes with time. Hopefully after this, we'll see how our group, this group that has traveled together for a very long time, we can strengthen our spoken language. And I'm guilty as well. As you can see today, though I started with Sanskritam, when a lot of questions came in, I switched to English, mainly because it will take time for me to think and frame the sentences and then speak in the right way. So we will do that, and thank you for that ask. Hopefully Guru is saying tatastu for your request, and we will get there one day. Okay, last question. Muthu Lakshmi Bhagini.
Hari Om, Namaste Bhagini.
Namaskara.
Trasmi.
न श्रूयते भगिनी.
द्वयो ग्रुप् अपि श्रूयते वा?
इदानीं वदतु
अपि श्रूयते वा? ஜி 2 குரூப் சொல்லியிருந்தேன் இல்லையா? மெயின் குரூப் ஒன்று, இன்னொன்று வந்து கிரகபாட்ட குரூப். அந்த 2 குரூப்போட பேர் என்ன? எங்களுக்கு அந்த லிங்க் கிடைக்குமா?
प्रेषयिष्यामि भगिनी. I will send.
हाँ जी.
धन्यवादः.
मेन ग्रुप इत्युक्ते कोविदा संगमा.
Kovida Patana Sangam. That is the main group, and the other group is the Grahapatam group. Okay. Dhanyavadah Bhagini. I will send.
Dhanyavadah ji. Dhanyavadah.
Astu. So the group details will be sent. I know many want to join. You don't want to be left out. We will send you the link in the main group. If you don't have, let me post my number. And if you're not part of either of the group, or you can send an email to okay, I've sent my email. You can send there so that I know I'm to whom I'm sending this to. Astu. Samasaha arambam karishyamaha. Mukhya vishayah Kovidastare. It is given in detail in this level, and it is a very important topic in Sanskritam. Astu. Kimartham Samasaha Mukhyah. Why is it important? Aneka Padasya anekasya padasya ekapadi bhavanam samasaha iti uchyate. So when you have many words and the words are shortened into one word, Samskrita bhashayaha mukhya vishayah samasah sundara vishayah api. Angila bhashayam vayam pashyamah chet, for example, he is not a good man iti vakyam asti. Katham vayam bhinna rupena vadamaha, he is not a good man. He is a bad man, not a good man. Iti padam asti. You can say it as he is a bad man. I wrote the exam very, very well. Samyak likitavati. Very, very well is what we commonly say, but the right way to say is I wrote the exam extremely well. Iti padam asti. Anya bhashayam api asti, kintu Samskrita bhashayam niyamaha dattaha santi. Compounding of words katham bhavati. Kimartam compounding of words avashyakam. Samasaha kimartam avashyakam asti. Why do we need samasaha? So many words are there. Why do we need a ekapadi bhavanam of many words into one? Priya Bhagini vadati, easy usage. Astu. To make it simple. So you have a long sentence. You want to shorten it and say it in an easy way. Sundharam asti. Yadha vayam pathamaha. It makes the language so beautiful. That is the beauty of Sanskritam. Dhirga vakyam asti laghum kritva sundara rupena vayam pathamaha chet atra samasaha nischayena bhavati. So you have these Samskrita Granthakaraha who are so good in Samasaha. What is said in 10 lines, they can beautifully say it in just 2 or 3 lines using Samasaha. So Samasaha ityukte kim anekasya padasya ekapadi bhavanam. Udaharanam pashyamaha anantaram varnanam kim iti pashyamaha. Ramaha Krishnaha cha vidyalayam gacchataha. Atra Ramaha asti, Krishnaha api asti. Dvayoho militva vidyalayam gacchataha. Atra Ramaha Krishnaha cha iti padam asti. Militva Samskrita bhashayaha anya mukhya vishayah asti dvivachanam. Khalu anya bhashayam na santi. Ramakrishnau vidyalayam gacchataha. Ramaha cha Krishnaha cha vidyalayam gacchataha. Iti vakyam asti. Ramakrishnau vidyalayam gacchataha. Katham vayam Ramakrishnau iti vadamaha. How do we say it? Ramaha asti, Krishnaha asti. Militva samasam krutva samastapadam kim asti Ramakrishnau vidyalayam gacchataha. Iti bhavati. Atra vakyam kim Ramaha Krishnaha cha vidyalayam gacchataha. Etatasti vakyam. This is the sentence there. Atra padani santi. Kati padani santi. How many words are there? The sentence is Ramaha Krishnaha cha vidyalayam gacchataha. Astu. Kati padani santi, pancha padani santi. Ramaha Krishnaha cha vidyalayam gacchataha. Iti pancha padani santi. Pancha padanam ekapadi bhavanam na kartum shakyate. Kimartam samasaha kevalam nama padanam eva bhavati. Nama padeshu eva bhavati. It comes only for nama padam. It doesn't come for the kriya padam. So, Rama Krishnau atra samasaha. Ramaha cha Krishnaha cha. You take this together and form a single word. You take many words together and form a single word. So Ramaha Krishnaha cha becomes Ramakrishnau. Samastapadam, the joined word, the compounded word is called Samasaha. Samasaha sarvata subantanam eva bhavati. Namapadanam eva bhavati. It comes only for Namapadam. What are Namapadam? Namapadam are nouns, correct. In Sanskritam, anything associated with Namapadam also can be called Subantam. It does not come, correct. Nouns, pronouns, all those are Namapadani. It does not come for Tingantam. What is Tingantam? Correct. Tingantams are verbs, Kriya Padani. So there, if there is Gachataha and another, say, Patataha, Gachataha, Patataha, Gachataha, Patataha cannot form a Samasaha. It can be done only for Subhantam, which is Namapadam. Samskrita Bhashayam Avyayam Api Namapadam Eva. Avyayams are also considered to be Namapadam. They are not Tingantam. So, Anekasya Padasya Ekapadi Bhavanam Samasaha iti uchyate. You have many words. These words are joined together to form a single word. Udaharanam Ramaha Krishnaha cha Vidyalayam Gacchataha. Etatasti Vakyam. Vakye Panchapadani Santi. Ramaha Krishnaha cha Vidyalayam Gacchataha. Atra Ramaha Krishnaha cha Militva Ramakrishnau iti vadamaha. Etatasti Samastapadam Samasaha. Avyayam api Subantam iti uchyate. That is also considered to be Subantam. Though there is the only catch with Avyayam is that there is no Linga Vachana Bedam, but then they are still classified as part of Subantam Eva. It is not a verb. It is part of the Subanta classification. Correct. Astu, Satyameva. So, Uma Bhagini and Padma Bhagini, they are asking, Avyayam cannot have declensions. Correct. It doesn't have declensions, but it is still considered to be Subantam. You can think of it as Subantam without declensions. So, if you take Rama Shabdaha, it has those 21 declensions. If you take Cha iti padamasti, Avyayam, it just does not have a declension, that's all. Avyayam, it does not change based on Linga Vachanam or Vibhakti Rupam. It does not have that, but it is still classified as Subantam Eva. Agre Pashyamaha. Atra Bhinna Vakyani Dattani. Mata Devasya Alayam Gacchati. Devasya Alayam iti Aneka Padasya Ekapadi Bhavanam. Devasya Alayam Devalayam. Atra Chatvari Padani Santi. Mata Devasya Alayam Gacchati. Devasya Alayam iti Padayoho Samasam Kritva Samastapadam Devalayam iti bhavati. Mata Devalayam Gacchati. Prathama Vakye Ramakrishnau iti Prathama Vibhakti Rupena bhavati. Dvitiya Vakyam Pashyatu, Udaharanam Pashyatu, Devalayam. Vibhaktihi ka? Dvitiya Vibhaktihi. Mata Devalayam Gacchati. Atra Devalayam iti Dvitiya Vibhaktihi. Anya Udaharanani Sitayaha Patihi Sitapatihi. Krishnam Phalakam. Krishna Phalakam. Agre Pashyamaha. Today is just an introduction, so you can't understand everything in the first class, but I still wanted to give you a few examples. Samase Niyamaha Ke Vayam Idanimeva Drishtavantaha. Anekasya Padasya Ekapadi Bhavanam Samasaha. You take many words and form a compound word. The compounded word is called as Samasaha, and it is called Samastapadam. Samasaha Subantanameva Bhavati. You do Samasaha only for Subanta, not for Kridanta, Shamyata, not for Tinganta. Samasaha Prayaha Tingantanam na bhavati. There are very rare cases when it forms for, it is done for Tinganta, which we will not go into detail, but I think it is very, very rare, but sometimes it is allowed. I think that's what is given in the Samasaha Pustaha also. Samasaha Padayoho Madhye Eva Bhavati. So Samasaha is always formed between words. So why the statement here? Kimartam Samasaha Padayoho Madhye Eva Bhavati iti dattam. Vayam Sandhim Drishtavantaha. Sandhihi Kada Bhavati. When does Sandhi happen? It happens between Varnayoho Madhye Bhavati. Samasaha Padayoho Madhye Eva Bhavati. Samase Arthasya Pradhanyam api asti. When you do a Samasaha, the Arthaha of that is important. So you cannot if there is a sentence which is given and there is a Samasaha that can be formed, but then after the Samasaha is done, the meaning of the sentence changes. The Samasaha should not and cannot happen there. So, for example, if there is a sentence which is given, and in Samskrita Bhasha, we all know that the ordering of words can happen in any order. So, Ramaha Vidyalayam Gacchati, Vidyalayam Ramaha Gacchati, Gacchati Ramaha Vidyalayam, Shuddhameva. But when you do the Samasaha, if the Arthaha is not maintained, then the Samasaha cannot be done. So, Samase Arthasya Pradhanyam Mukhyam Asti. You have to, when we do the Samasaha, you have to ensure that the meaning of what is being conveyed does not change. Samasaha Padayoho Madhye Bhavati. Sandhihi Varnayoho Madhye Bhavati. That is the difference. Somebody can. Sandhi Samasayoho Vedaha Kaha. Sandhihi Varnayoho Madhye Bhavati. Guru Adikam Upadeshaha. Guru Upadeshaha. Atra Guru Adikam Upadeshaha na. Ukaraha Adikam Ukaraha. Ukaraha. Iti eva bhavati. Guru plus upadeshaha, guru upadeshaha. The joining yojanam atra u plus u eva. Kintu samasaha padayoho madhye bhavati. Guroho upadeshaha, guru upadeshaha. The upadeshaha of the guru is called as guru upadeshaha. It happens between two words. That is the difference. What we will learn is the sandhi that we learned in Parichaya and in Siksha is what is used in Samasaha. So when we do Samasaha, the Pratipadikam is always taken into consideration, which is why Atra Pashyatu Guru Adikam Upadeshaha, Guru Upadeshaha. Guru iti padam swayameva nasti. There is no separate word called Guru. It should be one of the 21 forms, Subantaha. But we take Guru, Adikam Upadeshaha. When that happens for the Shabdaha, Guru is the Pratipadikam, which is what we use in Samasaha. Agre vayam pashyamaha, I am just mentioning it here. Samase kati padani santi prayaha padadvayam. So usually there are 2 words, but adhikani padani api bhavitum arhati. You can also have many words there. Aneka pada. You can have many words there. Adhikani padani api agantum shakyate. Padadvayam is what in many examples. Anekani udaharanani padadvayam athava trayam eva. Ramaha cha Lakshmanaha cha Rama Lakshmanau. Adhikani padani udaharanam kim? Ramaha cha Lakshmanaha cha Bharataha cha Shatrugnaha cha Rama Lakshmana Bharata Shatrugnaha iti padam bhavati. Samasta padam samasaha bhavati. Sandhi samasayoho bedaha kaha sandhihi varnayoho bhavati. It happens between 2 letters. Samasaha padayoho madhye bhavati. It happens between 2 words. Samasaha nityam between 2 words. When you join 2 words, you get the samasaha. How many words are there in samasaha? Prayaha padadvayam athava trayameva. Kintu bahavaha shamyata. Bahuni padani api agantum shakyate atra. Paribhashika padani. What are some of the nomenclature that we use in Sandhi, in Samasaha? Pashyamaha. I will complete the introduction part and then I will take questions. Today being first class, you will not be able to understand the little bit more detailed introduction. We will do it in the next class. I think you will understand it better. So what are some of the common terms or nomenclature? Paribhashika padani that we use. Devasya alayah. Devalayah. Atra त्रीणि पदानि सन्ति. देवस्य इति पदमस्ति, आलयः इति एकपदमस्ति. समस्तपदं किम् अत्र? देवालयः. देवस्य आलयः, देवालयः. समासे प्रातिपदिकं मुख्यमस्ति. देवस्य इति पदस्य प्रातिपदिकं किं? देव. एतदस्ति पूर्वपदम्. आलयः इति पदस्य प्रातिपदिकं किं? आलय. तदस्ति उत्तरपदम्. देवालयः, देवस्य आलयः मिलित्वा समासं कृत्वा देवालयः इति वयं वदामः. समासः समस्तपदम् अत्र किं? देवालयः समस्तपदम्. अनन्तरं देवस्य आलयः. यदि देवालयः इति पदम् अहं वदामि, देवालयः इति पदस्य विग्रहवाक्यं किं? What is the split of देवालयः? The उत्तरं will be देवस्य आलयः. एतदस्ति विग्रहवाक्यम्. एकपदं स्वीकृत्य वयं भिन्नरूपेण वदामः चेत्, you split it and you define it with the right vibhakti, right vachanam and everything. That is called as Vigrahavakyam. Punaha aham vadami. Paribhashika padani, the nomenclature or the common words that we use when we do a samasaha. Devasya alayah, devalayah. Yada vayam samasam kurmaha, tada pratipadikam svikurmaha. We need to look at the pratipadikam of the words given there. Devasya iti padamasti vibhaktihi ka. Vibhakti is षष्ठी विभक्तिः. किन्तु प्रातिपदिकं किम्? देव. अस्तु. रामस्य इति पदमस्ति. प्रातिपदिकं किं? राम. समानं देव. आलयः इति प्रथमा विभक्तिः. रामः. प्रातिपदिकं किम्? आलय. देवस्य आलय समासं कृत्वा देवालयः. एतदस्ति समस्तपदम्. देवस्य आलयः. यदि देवालयः दृष्ट्वा we split and we explain it, That is called as Vigraha Vakyam. Purva Padam, Uttara Padam, Samasta Padam, Vigraha Vakyam. These are the 4 terms. Paribhashika Padani Samase. Purva Padasya, Uttara Padasya, Pratipadikam Svikurmaha. Uttara Padasya Prayaha Adika Adikam. Uttara Padasya Yat Lingam Asti Tadeva Samasta Padasya Api Bhavati. In most of the Samasaha, what is the lingam of the Uttara Padam? That is what is the lingam of the Samasta Padam or the Samasaha. Purva Padam, Uttara Padam, Pratipadika Rupena Tishtataha. Atra Pashyatu Deva Alaya. Deva Adikam Alaya. Atra Sandhi Bhavati. Sandhihi kaha? Savarna Dirgha Sandhihi. Uttamam, Priya Bhagini. Deva Adikam Alayah, Devalayah. Devalayah asti Samasta Padam. Devasya Alayah yadi vayam vadamaha chet etadasti Vigraha Vakya. Astu. Kanichana udaharana pashyamaha. Ka vaktumichati Ramaha cha Krishnaha cha. Atra Ramaha cha Krishnaha cha.
Ramakrishnau.
Ramakrishnau. Uttama. Atra Purva Padam kim?
Purva Padam Ramaha.
Uttara Padam kim?
Krishnaha.
Krishnaha. Vigraha Vakyam kim?
Ramakrishnau.
Aha. Vigraha Vakyam kim?
Ramaha cha Krishnaha.
Krishnaha cha. Etadasti Vigraha Vakyam. Rama Krishnau iti vadamaha chet. Samasam Krishna.
Samasam.
Padam kim? Padam nama kim?
Paribhashika Padam.
That is the nomenclature. These are all Purva Padam, Uttara Padam. These are the nomenclature. What is the Padam that we get after we do the Samasaha is called
Samasta Padam.
Uttamam. Samasta Padam. Uttamam Bhagini. Samasta Padam. Rama, Krishna, Rama Krishnau, Ramaha cha, Krishnaha cha. Uttamam Bhagini.
Dhanyavadam.
Geeta Bhagini.
Bhagini. Kalidasena rachitam. Kalidasa rachitam. Kalidasa Purvapadam. Rachitam Uttarapadam. Kalida Samastapadam asti Kalidasa rachitam. Atra Vigrahavakyam asti Kalidasa Virachitam.
Kalidasa Rachitam. Uttamam. Atra Sandhihi asti va?
Kalidasena Tritiya. No, sorry. Sandhi Kalidasena Rachitam. Sandhi asti Bhagini asti.
Kutra asti? Sandhihi atra asti va? Kalidasa Pratipadikam asti. Rachita iti Pratipadikam asti. Kalidasa Rachitam sa adikam ra. Sandhihi asti va?
Kalidasa Sandhihi nasti Bhagini.
Sandhihi atra nasti. There is no Sandhi rule for sa and ra. So you just write as Kalidasa Rachitam.
Shamyata Bhagini.
Uttamam. Dhanyavada. Parvati Bhagini.
Dhanyavada.
Vadatu. न श्रूयते भगिनी.
भगिनी राम भगिनी
नमस्कारः. इदानीं वदतु.
दशरथपुत्रः श्रूयते वा? दशरथस्य पुत्रः. दशरथ पूर्वपदं. पुत्रः उत्तरपदं. दशरथस्य पुत्रः विग्रहवाक्यम्.
उत्तमम्.
पुत्रः समस्तपदम्.
उत्तमम्. अत्र सन्धिः अस्ति वा? नास्ति. अत्र सन्धिः नास्ति. प्रश्नमस्ति रचितं वा रचित प्रातिपदिकं रचित फलशब्दं वदतु. कथं वयं वदामः? अकारान्तः नपुंसकलिङ्गः फलशब्दः एव. अस्तु, धन्यवादः भगिनी. पल्ली भगिनी वदतु.
नीलमेघः, नीलः मेघः, नीलमेघः, नीलः पूर्वपदं, मेघः उत्तरपदं, नीलमेघः समस्तपदं, नीलः मेघः विग्रहवाक्यम्.
उत्तमम्.
धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः. अस्तु. अत्र अग्रे वयम् अभ्यासं कुर्मः. पदं दत्तमस्ति. समस्तपदं वा समासः अस्ति वा समासः नास्ति वा इति वक्तव्यम्. अर्थलाभः. यदि वयम् एकं पदं पश्यामः, अत्र when we look at a word, we understand there are two words there. Typically, there is a samasaha that happens. Atra samasaha kaha, samasaha bedaha kaha, iti idanim vaktum na shakyate. When we look at this artha labhaha at this level in this class, you will not be able to say, oh, what is the type of samasaha in and how is it formed? Because it's first class, you will not be able to say. But then when we look at the word, we will know whether it is a samasaha or no. So, ka prayatanam karoti, padadvayam prayatanam karotu, artha labhaha. Priya Bhagini.
Mata. Namaskara, Mata.
Namaskara. Samasaha atra asti va? Na va?
अस्ति माता.
समासः अस्ति. अर्थ इति पदमस्ति. लाभ इति पदमस्ति.
पूर्वपदम् अर्थ, उत्तरपदं लाभ, समस्तपदम् अर्थलाभः.
विग्रहवाक्यं न वक्तुं शक्यते. किन्तु किमर्थं? we don't know what the समासः at this level. So you can't know the vigrahavakyam now. The whole exercise of learning samasaha is for us to look at a word and write the vigrahavakyam, or look at many words and how do you form a simple samasa word. Uttamam. Ekamapi vadatu.
Astu.
Udyogah.
Nasti.
Samasaha na. उद्योगः एव. धन्यवादः.
धन्यवादः.
रमा भगिनी.
वरान्वेषणं. वरः अन्वेषणं.
वर अन्वेषणं.
वरस्य अन्वेषणं.
इदानीं विग्रहवाक्यं मास्तु. You don't have to say the vigrahavakyam. So what word do you decipher from there? There is vara. We know the word vara. We also know anveshanam. How they are joined, that we will see later. So because there is vara and anveshanam, you see two words which are joined and formed into one. Samasaha asti va nasti va?
Nasti.
Samasaha
anveshanam.
Astu. So is this a samasta padam or no? Is it a samasaha or no?
Aham na janami bhagini. Anveshanam asti. Varaha asti, anveshanam asti. Is a prefix.
Na bhagini. No. So what the question is, I am telling you, giving you a word. by looking at the word, can you figure out if there is a Samasaha happening there or not? When does a Samasaha happen? When there are at least two words, right?
Two words.
If there are two words which are joined together and stated as one single word, then Samasaha happens. Now here, when we look at this, you can see that there is a word vara that we know it, whether it is varaha, varam, vara, forget that. Vara. There is a word vara that we know. There is anveshanam that we know. So there are two words which are joined together and given as varanveshanam. So is Samasaha happening there or not?
It is happening.
So it is a Samasaha. On the other hand, if I tell you Udyogaha, Purvapadam, right? Udyogaha. There, it is only one single word which is given there. So it is not a Samasaha. The exercise we are trying to do here, by looking at the word, can we say whether a Samasaha is happening there or not? This is what we are trying now.
I understand now.
Astu Bhagini. Agre. Uma Bhagini.
Udda is a prefix, Bhagini.
No. Udyogaha, Udyogaha eva. It's a word by itself. Astu. Agre. Uma Bhagini.
Namaste, Bhagini. Pitru Bhaktihi. Pitru Samasaha asti Bhagini.
We know Pitru is a Pratipadikam for Pita Shabda. We know Bhakti. So we know there are two words there.
Yes,
so
Bhagini.
Samasaha asti va nasti va?
Asti Bhagini.
Samasaha asti. Ekamapi agre anya chhatraha santi. Dhanyavadah Bhagini. Muthulakshmi Bhagini vadatu.
Nadi pravaha. Samasah asti. Nadi pravaha.
Padadvayam asti ataha Samasaha bhavati. Uttamam. Dhanyavadah. Kleshaha asti. Chandrasekharan Mahodaya.
Yes, Bhagavati. Desha seva. Samasaha asti.
Samasaha asti. Uttama. Desha iti
purvapadam. Seva is uttarapadam.
Uttarapadam. Uttamam. Dhanyavadah. Agre. Shuddhata. Sandhya Bhagini.
Namaste Bhagini. Na asti.
Atra Samasaha na. Uttamam. Geeta Bhagini.
Vasishtashramah. Vasishta ashrama. Padadvayam asti. Ataha samastapadam asti. Samasaha asti.
Samasaha bhavati. Uttamam. Agre. Parthasarathi Mahodaya.
Namaste Bhagini, Rajeshwari here.
Namaskaraha. Nama parivartanam karotu Bhagini. So that
Ganga Yamune. Samasaha asti. Asti. Ganga Yamuna.
Uttama. Ganga Yamuna. Padadvayam asti. Ataha Samasaha. Samasaha asti. Uttamam. Vrikshaha. Uma.
Vrikshaha Samasaha nasti.
Samasaha nasti. Ekapadameva. Uttamam. Uttamam. Pustake abhyasaha dattaha sarve karotu. Agre vayam pashyamaha. There is few more words given in the book. You can try that. Samasaha katham bhavati. Niyamaha kaha iti agre vayam pashyamaha. Kintu adya Atra nadyaha tiram iti padam padadvayam dattamasti nadyaha tiram. Prathama padasya pratipadikam kim? Nadyaha iti padasya pratipadikam nadi. Ikarantaha strilingaha nadi nadi iti vadamaha. So nadyaha tiram nadi tiram. Agre Balli Bagni. Samudrasya tataha.
Samudra tataha.
Samudra tataha. Samudrasya iti shashti vibhaktihi Rama shabdavat.
Am Bagni.
Samudra tataha. Uttama. Gomati Bagni.
Namaskara Bagini.
Namaskara. Bhumehe gunaha.
Bhumi gunaha.
Bhumi gunaha. Uttama. Meenakshi Bagni.
Ram.
Agre. Kakasya. Kavadati Meenakshi Bagni. Kakasya karshnyam.
Kaka karshnayam.
Kaka karshnyam.
Dhanyawad.
Uttama. Aarti Bagni. Devanam indraha.
Namaste Bagni.
Namaskara.
Deva Indraha.
Deva adikam indraha asti. Akaraha ikaraha bhavati chet agre vayam pashyamaha katham samastapadam vaktavyam iti. Kintu adya eka udaharanam. Deva adikam indraha asti. Akaraha ikaraha yojayitva kim bhavati? A plus E becomes?
Devendraha.
Sandhihi kaha?
Gunasandhi.
Gunasandhihi. Uttamam. Devanam indraha devendraha iti bhavati. Uttamam.
Dhanyawad.
Ekadavasham. Agre. Sudhayaha khandaha. Is somebody on unmute? Kavadati? Deepa? Deepa Bagni, you have to unmute yourself. Sudhayaha khandaha.
Sudha Kandaha. Sudha Kandaha.
Uttama. Vijayalakshmi Bagni. Pandoho tanayaha. Punaha vadatu Bagni. Pandu tanayaha. Kim shabdavat? It is like what shabdaha?
Guru shabdaha.
Uttama. Padma Bagni. Guroho patni.
Guru Patni.
Guru Patni. Uttamam. After you have answered, please mute yourself. Okay. Dhanyavada. Mitrasya griham. Kamakshi Bagini.
Namaste Bagini.
Mitrasya griham.
Namaste Bagini.
Vadatu. Vadatu Bagini.
Mitrasya griham. Mitra griham.
Mitra griham. Uttamam. Ranjani Bagini. Devasya puja.
Devasya puja, Deva puja.
Deva puja. Uttamam. Atra Deva puja iti padam asti. Paribhashika padani kani. Vadatu. Ranjani Bhagini vadatu. Devasya puja iti udaharanam asti. Vakyam, vigraha vakyam kim, purva padam, uttara padam, samasta padam kim iti vadatu.
Purva padam Devaha.
Deva.
Deva. Puja. Devasya Deva puja.
Purva padam kim?
Deva.
Uttara padam kim?
Uttara padam puja.
Samasta padam kim?
Samasta padam Deva puja.
Uttamam. Vigraha vakyam?
Devasya puja.
Devasya puja. Uttamam. Dhanyavadah. Agre. Gayatri Bhagini.
Namaskara Mata.
Namaste. Deepasya prakashaha.
Deepa prakashaha. Deepa Pratama Padam. Prakasha.
Pratama nasti Bhagini. Purva padam.
Purva padam. Prakasha Uttara padam. Deepa prakashaha Samasta padam. Deepasya prakashaha Vigraha vakyam.
Uttamam. Uttamam Bhagini. Many are answering in the chat, and that's okay. People who are, I'm anyways listening to the person who is answering over voice, but it will feel like everybody is participating. That's okay. Those who are answering, don't look at the chat. That will be my request, so that you try it yourself. Kavehe Rachana. Kanchana Bhagini.
Kavi Rachana.
Kavehe Rachana. Kavi Rachana.
Kavi Rachana.
Kavi Rachana. Uttamam. Indrani Bhagini.
Yam.
Chandrasya Darshanam.
Chandra Darshanam.
Chandra Darshanam. Uttamam. Lakshmi Bhagini. Jananam Samuhaha.
Jana Samuhaha.
Jananam Samuhaha. Jana Samuhaha. Jananam. Vibhaktihi Vachanam kim?
Shashti Bahuvachanam.
Shashti Bahuvachanam. Uttamam. Jananam Samuhaha. Jana Samuhaha. Uttamam. Vasanti Bhagini.
Bhagini.
Naganam Indraha.
Naganam Indraha. Naganam itu Saptami Indraha. Naga Indraha.
Naga Indraha.
Naga Indraha.
Atra sandhihi bhavati va Naga Indraha. Akarantaha adhikam ikarantaha. Sandhihi bhavati va.
Bhagini.
Sandhihi kaha. A plus E becomes.
A plus E becomes Yan.
A plus E is not Yan. A plus E becomes.
Not able to place right away.
Chintamastu. Atra sandhihi asti guna sandhihi. A plus E becomes.
E. Okay.
Yeah.
A. Thank you.
Nagendraha. Samase sandhihi bahu mukyamasti. Without sandhi, you can't do the samasaha. So make sure you brush up your sandhi before coming to the next class. Astu. Pratipadikam eva. Atra purvapadam uttarapadam pratipadikam eva. Samasaha ityukte kaha anekasya padasya ekapadi bhavanam. Samasaha. Many words are there. You join those words together to form one word. That is called Samasaha. Samasaha Subantanam eva bhavati. It happens only in Supratyayah. Samskrita Bhashayam Avyayani api Subantanam eva. Subantapadam eva. Samasaha Prayaha Tigantanam na bhavati. It usually does not happen for Tigantas. Samasaha Padayoho madhye eva bhavati. Kintu Sandhihi Varnayoho madhye bhavati. Samasaha is always between two words, and unlike Sandhi, which happens between two letters, two varnaha. Samase arthasya pradhanyam bahu mukyam asti. When we do the Samasaha, we need to ensure that the arthaha does not change. So randomly, you cannot do Samasaha between two words just because they happen to be next to each other. Samasaha should convey the same meaning as the original Vakyam. So, Aneka Padasya Ekapadi Bhavanam Samasaha Subantanam eva bhavati, Tingantanam na bhavati, Padayoho madhye bhavati, Varnayoho madhye na. Yada vayam samasam kurmaha tada Padayoho yojanam bhavati. Atra Varnayojanam kritva Sandhim kritva Samasaha Vaktavyam. Samase arthasya pradhanyam bahu mukyam asti. You have to ensure that you understand the meaning. Astu. Prashnaha asti vibhaktihi. Do we need to say Purvapadam, Uttarapadam? No, it is enough if you say the Pratipadikam. So when you say Ramasya Putraha, Rama Putra, that is more than enough. Astu. Prashnaha asti agre vayam pashyamaha. How do you form the Samasaha? Agre Guru Vasare yada vayam milamaha tada vayam pashyamaha. When you do the Samasaha, Sandhihi asti chet nischayena Sandhim kartavyam. Sandhihi kartavyaha. You need to do the Sandhihi if Sandhihi is there. This is just a short introduction. We will do little more in detail on during our Thursday class. Pustake aham grihapatam api preshayishyami. Just 2-3 shlokas, and you can look at the shlokas and see if you are able to identify which is Samasaha and which is not. And then on Thursday with Guru Kripa, we will go a little more detailed into how Samasaha is done. So if there is many words given, how do you form? You need not know the type of the Samasaha, but in general, what are the rules or the niyamaha that are followed when doing Samasaha? Sameha asti chet Samasa Vedaha api vayam pashyamaha. Vedan api pashyamaha. We'll also see the types of Samasaha. Anantaram ekeka Vedam Swikritya Dihirga Rupena pashyamaha. So we'll do the high level classification, and then we will take each of the type, and then we will go into detail as much as is required. So in our class, we will do as much as possible, but then we will try to stick to the book so that it doesn't get confusing for others. After we have done quite a few, we can do other exercises from outside. So at least the beginning part, I would suggest just go with what is given in the book, because they've actually given that sopanam very beautifully. Just the introduction to Samasaha, and then classification of Samasaha, and then within each, how do you identify each of the subtypes? So the Samskrita Bharati book is very beautifully done. There is also another Samskrita Bharati Samasa book which you can buy online as well. But honestly, for the exam, I pretty much did what is there in the book, and a few exercises that my teacher had shared, which hopefully I can share with you as well. Prashna Hastiva. I'll take maybe a couple of questions, and then we will stop, because I know there will be a lot of questions about Samasaha, this being the introduction class. Bhagini,
based on the verb decide about the bahuvachanam decide பண்ண முடியல சமாசய ஜனானாம் சமூகஹ அது கச்சந்தி அத பேஸ் பண்ணி we can make out whether it's plural or singular அப்படியா ராமகிருஷ்ணம் கச்சதஹ வித்யாலயம் கச்சதஹ based on the kachatah we can make out this dvitiya like that you have to decide.
No, the gachatah doesn't change, Riyabhagini. It's gachatah remains gachatah eva.
No, if they give only jananam samohaha gacha adu mattu samasya padam jana samohaha, if they give samasya padam with the verb how do we know whether it's jananam samoha and mari eppadi how do we know whether it's nagendraha naganam indraha
nagendraha iti yada vayam vadamah. When you say nagendraha, you know there is a word called naga, you know there is a word called indra.
Yeah,
only by joining these two we can, when these two are joined you get nagendraha. So some samasaha is happening there. Now whether it is naganam indraha, nagasya indraha or nagaya indraha, what that samasaha we will know as we go forward. But when you look at a word, when you say the word, you know there are two words which you are able to relate to in that. Typically there will be a samasaha that is formed there. So when you say nagendraha, by default we know there is a word called naga, there is a word called indra. So this naga and indra somehow are joining together and then nagendraha is formed. Now how they are formed, that is what we are going to learn in this tara.
Okay. Thank you.
Atra singular noun iti nasti bhagini. There are the nagendraha nama padam. Atra samshayah na, doshaha na. Kintu ekavachanam va, bahuvachanam va, dvivachanam va iti yada vayam samasam kurmah tada eva atra niyamam palayitva vaktum shakyate. You need to follow the rules and then form the vibhaktihi and vachanam accordingly. Somebody had asked Ganga and Yamuna together, why it is not Ganga Yamuna, right? Ganga, Yamuna, both are Strilinga Padam, which we will learn later. So when in Strilinga Padam, Dvivachanam Katam Bhavati, Lata, Late, Lataha. So it follows the same rule as the Linga Vibhaktihi. So if you are joining together and you are forming a Pullinga Padam Dvivachanam, it will become Rama Lakshmanau. If it is a Strilinga Padam, then it will become Ganga Yamune, because it is not Ganga Yamunau. So those niyamaha we will see later. Yeah. So as of today, at the end of this class, what you should know is what is samasaha. So many words are joined together to form one compounded word, that is called samasaha. What are the nomenclature, paribhashika padani of samasaha? Purva padam, uttara padam, vigraha vakyam, samasta padam. And then when samasaha happens, it happens only for subantas. It does not happen for tingantas. Samasaha happens only between words, in contrary to sandhihi, which happens between letters. When doing samasaha, we have to keep in mind that artham is does not get distorted. Arthasya pradhanyam mukyam asti, which is why when you do sandhi, you don't think about the meaning. But when you do a samasaha, you need to make sure that you understand the arthaha. Astu. Rama Krishnau gacchati or gacchataha. Katham Bhagini vadatu Rama Krishnau ekaha va dviva. Ekavachanam va dvivachanam va. It is dvivachanam. Atraha patati patataha patanti. When two people are involved there, it will become dvivachanam. When it is dvivachanam, it will be patataha. So it will be gacchataha. You cannot say Rama Krishnau Gacchati. Then it will become only one person. Rama Krishnau is the name of that person, is what we have to say. But there are two people involved. When there are many people, Ramaha cha, Krishnaha cha, Gopalaha cha, iti asti chet, Rama Krishna Gopalaha Gacchanti iti bhavati. So when you do the Samasaha, you have to make sure that you take the Vachanam also into consideration, which you don't go into detail today. At the end of this class, what is Samasaha? What is the nomenclature in Samasaha? When do we do Samasaha? When Samasaha happens and when you do Samasaha, what you need to keep in mind. That's it. That is all you need to know at the end of this class. Padayoho is in between two words. Astu. Jana samuhaha iti asti chet, samuhaha iti vachanam kim? Manjula Bhagini pritchati, samuhaha iti asti. Samuhaha vachanam kim? What is the vachanam of samuhaha? Ekavachanam eva. So jana samuhaha gacchati eva. So like a collective noun, right? Astu. Vargam samapayamaha. Agre vayam guruvasare ekadashavadane milamaha. Samana Zoom link eva. Group madhye aham preshayishyami. Grihapatasya gana link api preshayishyami. Astu. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.